Hi all, welcome to our doubt clearing session. Today we are having a question. In a mouse, the sporophyte, and we are having 4 options. And we have to see which all wrong options can be eliminated and which is the right option. So now let's read out the options. The sporophyte produces gametes that give rise to gametophytes. Option B arises from a spore produced from the gametophyte. Option C manufactures food for itself as well as for the gametophyte. And option D is partially parasitic on the gametophyte. So basically we know mosses like Funaria are bryophytes and they are highly non-vascular. So even though those points are not relevant for answering this particular question, I am noting it down here. So mosses mostly are bryophytes and they are highly non-vascular. So what does non-vascular means? Means it does not have a root, and that's why we can see them highly populated even on the moist areas. Okay, so now coming to the plant body of mosses, we know the main plant body is gametophytic. So this gametophyte constitutes the main plant body of the mosses. And what is the function of gametophyte? It produces the gametes, that is, it produces a male gamete and also the female gamete. And as we know, the male gamete is produced from the antheridium and the female gamete is produced from the archegonium. And these two gametes combine to form the zygote, which later develops into the sporophyte. So the zygote is a thing that develops into the sporophyte. So this is the sporophyte. And we know the sporophyte is composed of all the sporogenous tissues here. So these markings are the sporogenous tissues inside the sporophyte. So let me ask you, what is the basic function of sporophyte? It is just to produce spores. So the sporophyte will be producing spores. So these are the spores produced from the sporophyte, and these spores combine together to form the gametophyte. So this is a process happening inside the plant body of mosses. So the main plant body is gametophytic and it produces the two male and female gametes which combine together to form the zygote, which in turn develops into the sporophyte, which releases or produces spores which combine to form the gametophyte. So this is the process happening here. So now let's look into the options. The first option, that is the sporophyte produces gametes that give rise to gametophyte, and we know it is wrong. Why? Because it is not the sporophyte that produces gametes. It is the gametophyte that produces the gametes, right? So this option is wrong. So we can simply cut it down. And next one. The next option is the sporophyte arises from a spore produced from the gametophyte. So it is said that the spore is produced from the gametophyte. It is also wrong, right? Why? Just because the gametophyte is producing gametes and not spores. So the second option is also wrong. Coming into the third option, manufactures food for itself as well as for gametophyte. So if a plant body wants to produce food of its own, then it should be photosynthetic in nature. It should contain the photosynthetic material, right? That is, it should contain chlorophyll. And just remember that it is a gametophyte that constitutes of the photosynthetic material, and there is no photosynthetic material in the sporophyte. So it is only the gametophyte that can produce food, and the sporophyte cannot prepare food just because it does not have the photosynthetic material. So sporophyte cannot even prepare food for itself. Then how can it prepare for the gametophyte? Right? So the third option is also wrong. So now we are having only one option left, and so that is the right option. And we can check into that option also. It is said that the sporophyte is partially parasitic on the gametophyte. Right? It is true, because the sporophyte cannot prepare food. Instead, it depends on the gametophyte for its nutrition. So this is the right option. So it is partially parasitic. So let us have an extra point here. As we discussed here, this is a sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue is comprised of food, seta, and the capsule. This capsule can be seen here. This is a capsule region, and remember it contains the archispores. Archispores are contained within the capsule. Seta is the stalk of the capsule, and food serves for the function of nutrition. So food is related with the nutrition. So food helps the sporophyte to derive nutrition from the gametophyte, and hence sporophyte is said to be partially parasitic on the gametophyte. So this question is solved. Hope this answered your question. So now let's move to the next question. The question is, which one of the following is common to multicellular fungi, filamentous algae, and Protonema of Moses? The options are A. Diplontic life cycle, option B. Members of kingdom Plantae, option C. The mode of nutrition, and option D. Multiplication by fragmentation. So we are having 4 options to eliminate 3 wrong answers and to select the right answer. So the question is to find out which one is common to multicellular fungi, filamentous algae, and Protonema of Moses. And the first option is diplontic life cycle. And as we know, haplontic life cycle, in this haplontic life cycle, the haploid stage is multicellular, while in the diplontic life cycle, it is a diploid stage that is multicellular. Here it is haploid stage, that is multicellular. So keep this in your mind. And we know the mosses invariably show the diplontic life cycle. Diplontic life cycle is invariably shown by the mosses, while others, that is filamentous algae and multicellular fungi, may or may not show diplontic life cycle. So we can just summarize that diplontic life cycle is not the thing that is common to all the 3. So this is a wrong option, and that is eliminated. Now coming into the second option, members of kingdom Plantae. We know about the 5 kingdom classification, and that is kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and at last is the kingdom Animalia. And we know algae and mosses, they come under the kingdom Plantae, but fungi is a separate kingdom. That is why we are having a kingdom fungi of its own. So this is also a wrong option, and we are simply eliminating it. Okay, and now coming to the third option, that is mode of nutrition. And as we know, algae as well as mosses are autotrophs. So algae and mosses are autotrophs. And we know the word meaning of autotrophs. Auto means self, and trophs means producing. So they produce their own food. So they are autotrophs, while the fungi is heterotrophic in nature. So this is also a wrong option, and we are simply eliminating it. So now we are left with only one option, and of course that is the right option. And we know all the 3, they multiply by fragmentation. That is, they divide into fragments, and that is the method of their reproduction. How? This answers your question, and this is our right option. So now let's look into the third question of ours. Match the items in column 1 with those in column 2 and select the right options from these options. Okay. So column 1, the first one is proliferative. In column 2, the first one given is breakdown of phase endometrial lining. In column 1, the second one is secretory phase. Here, the second one is follicular phase. Here, the third one is menstruation. Here, it is luteal phase. So now, we can see which one in column 1 matches with the items in column 2, and we can select the right option from here. So the first one, proliferative. And we know the word meaning of proliferative. It means to multiply and spread. Remember it? It means to multiply and spread. So it is in this proliferative phase that estrogen level in the body of a female rises, and as a result the endometrium, that is a layer of the uterus, thickens up, and the ovary will be ready to release an egg or ovum. So in this stage the ovary is not actually releasing an egg. Instead it is getting prepared to release an egg. So we can see that this is the stage that happens right before ovulation. Okay, so we can call it as pre-ovulatory phase. So there is another technical term for this phase. It is pre-ovulatory phase. And it is in this phase itself that a follicle undergoes a maturation. The follicle matures from a primary follicle to a fully mature Graafian follicle. So this maturation of the follicle happens in this proliferative phase, and as a result we call this proliferative phase by one more technical term, that is the follicular phase. Okay, just because the follicle matures from a primary follicle to a Graafian follicle in this proliferative phase. So this matches with this one. So 1 in column 1 matches with 2 in column 2. Okay. Now coming to the next one, secretory phase. And as we all know, secretory phase is another phase in the menstrual cycle of the biological life of a female body, and it is in this secretory phase that corpus luteum is produced. Corpus luteum is produced. And what is the function of corpus luteum? It is responsible for the production of progesterone in the female body. So I will note it down here, progesterone. So it is a corpus luteum that is responsible for the production of progesterone in the human body, and so secretion happens there, and in the secretory phase corpus luteum is produced. And see the word luteum, so we can easily remember that this luteal phase, it is named after the word luteum. So luteal phase can be recognized as another term for this secretory phase. So number 2 in column 1 matches with number 3 in column 2. So secretory phase, also called luteal phase. Now we are having the last option. So we can easily see these things will be matching each other. And we also know menstruation. In menstruation, what is happening? So each time the female body, the uterus will be waiting for the zygote to nurture the zygote or to nurture a growing fetus. But what happens if fertilization does not occur? Then the endometrium, that is the layer of the uterus, will shed up along with some mucus and blood from the vagina and cervix. And this shedding up of the endometrium along with the blood and the mucus is simply called the menstrual flow. So menstruation meaning breakdown of the phase endometrium lining. That is, the lining of the endometrium layer will shed up along with the unused ovum and some blood and mucus, causing the menstrual flow. So this matches with this one. So see here, now we can check out the options here. 1 matches with 2. So see here, 1 matches with 2. 2 matches with 3. 2 matches with 3. 3 matches with 1. So this one is the right option. So the first option, A, is the right answer. So in this way, we can easily answer the question. Hope this answers your question. Thank you for watching.